Okay, and we are live. Welcome everyone to another Saturday live stream. I'm streaming from Berlin in Germany. It's 9 p.m. just gone 9 minutes past 9 here. Just setting up my levels. Whilst I get myself organized. So in this live stream, we're going to be talking about my live performance setup. And so I'm just basically going to be going through everything that I use on a live performance, you know. And I've set everything up here exactly how I would have a live performance, or thereabouts, you know. I'm using a handheld microphone. Normally on these streams I like to use a condenser or a ribbon mic, but live I like to stick with like either a dynamic or like a handheld condenser, which is what this is as well. So anyway, we're going to go through all of that, but I'm just setting up the levels and making sure, you know, everything's right. If you've just stumbled upon this live stream, or you're watching this on the replay and you have no idea what this is about, then welcome. So my name's Fabian Holland. I'm a guitarist, singer and songwriter from the UK originally, but I'm based here in Germany. And on this channel, I like to talk about everything related to guitarists, singers and songwriters. And I talk about a lot of gear, a lot of guitar stuff. But I also like to, you know, talk about the kind of the stuff that we have to go through, the struggles and everything like that. Yeah, so I hope everyone's doing well. I'm just going to get straight into it now. Just checking everything. Here we go. And so I wanted to talk about my live performance setup, because you know, it's something that I feel you have to get the sound check right, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But you have to, it's something that I'm constantly exploring and pursuing, you know, and trying to perfect each time as well, you know. And it's funny, I haven't actually done a live show in a little while, but I'm really hoping next year I'll be doing a lot more, you know. But I kind of been doing these live streams as my live performance. But I'm doing something, if anyone is on, jumping on the chat here, I'm just doing a bit of an experimenting with my setup, just so I can show you guys some stuff. If you let me know if you can hear me okay and everything. I'm actually going through my digital audio workstation, so what I'm hearing is actually not what you're hearing, which is a bit disconcerting, you know. So I'm hearing directly out from my interface, but you know, you're going through a few different steps after me. So if you can just make sure I'm not clipping, I'm not distorting, and the level is loud enough and everything like that. Just drop down in the chats and let me know, then that would be amazing. First thing that I'm going to talk about is the guitar. This is a 1994 Loudon 010. It's a jumbo size, but it really doesn't feel big at all. It really fits in on your lap, or if you have a strap, it really fits really comfortably, you know. It's a cedar top and mahogany back and sides, and it's really it's really great for these low detunings, you know. In Dadgad I'm at now, but you know, it's a really nice, beautiful guitar, handmade in Northern Ireland. It just sings, you know, with every little note. It's just got so much resonance and just natural resonance to it. It's a really nice guitar. So this is what my main guitar when I'm playing live on stage, and I am using D'Addario EJ17 medium gauge strings as well. They're phosphor bronze coated, so they do dull after a little while. Like when you put the fresh strings on, they do sound really bright, almost too bright. I like to wear them in a couple of days. But these are like a week old, 2 weeks old maybe. They still sound pretty good. So they're kind of the strings I use at the moment, you know. And you know, a lot of people, or I've heard people say that they use cheaper guitars or less expensive guitars on the road, you know, and live, rather than using their main kind of guitar. And I get that, because of all the reasons of taking it on tour, and it's going to get damaged, it's going to get bashed, and everything, you know. And I guess because I'm using a pickup as well, it doesn't matter as much when you're using a pickup as in the studio using a microphone, you know. But I still, it's the way it feels to me, you know. I'm so used to this guitar and the way it inspires me when I'm playing live. That's the reason I need this guitar, you know. Sure, I could do it with a cheaper guitar, but it's just it's not only the sound when I'm playing this guitar, it's just the familiarity and just the way it inspires me when I'm performing live. And when you're performing live, you know, it's really important to be inspired. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit later on, but it's, you know, it's really important to be in the right headspace when you're performing. That can really be everything. Yeah, so that's kind of the guitar side of things. Yeah. Hello, we got someone in the chat. How's it going? Is that your name? Music and Lyrics by E.C. Daly? Is that right? Say, sounds good. I had to boost the volume a bit to listen on my iMac. Guitar sounds good, great as well. Okay, good. Thanks. Yeah, maybe it's weird because the volume is really high on my DAW, but yeah, the volume is a bit lower on the program I'm using. I don't know, but as long as you can hear me, then I guess that's all good. Another comment, being as I'm near Boston, USA, I'm getting dropouts on the stream. Not sure if it's my internet server. Okay, you're getting some dropouts. Let me have a look. Thanks for letting me know. It says it's an excellent connection on YouTube. YouTube tells me whether it's the connection is okay. If there's anyone else watching, then please let me know if you're also having problems like dropouts or anything. Yeah, and I'll have to we'll just continue and see if it keeps going. Hasn't been a problem in the past, but I am doing a slightly different setup with things on here, so maybe it could be to do with that. But let me know if it sorts itself out or if it continues. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. And if there's anyone else out there, then yeah, let me know if it is dropping out at all or anything like that. Yeah, so that's the guitar side of things, and the pickup I'm using is a K&K Pure Mini bridge pickup, and now I have a simple pickup, but I used to have a bit of a more complicated setup. But I really like this pickup. It's basically 3 contact pickups just underneath the bridge here, and it's kind of like a pizzo style, you know. I guess it's the same kind of technology, you know. It's like 3 contact sort of things that you glue underneath on the inside of the guitar, and then it just comes through as a jack. Completely passive pickup. Yeah, so it's a really nice, warm sounding pickup. I really like it. So I'm going to turn this this microphone off, so at least you can hear just the pickup. 1 second, let me see if I can do that. Yeah. So that microphone's off now. So now all that's picking up is the pickup. Yeah, that's not coming through. So it's quite a natural sounding pickup. I quite like it. And yeah, I used to have like 3 pickups in here. I used to have a sound hole pickup, an internal mic, which technically is a microphone, and I used to have the K&K as well. And that was nice as well. It's nice to have that bit more complicated, some options for some other sounds in there, you know. And then I used to blend those 3 signals. A lot of guitarists do this sort of thing these days, or have done for a while. And maybe, you know, it's something I might get back into at some point. But the more signals you have, the more complicated it is down the line as well, because each one of those signals needs to go through some kind of preamp, whether it's an internal or external preamp, and then they need to be further processed with like individual EQs. So I had like preamp for every 3 signal, and then an EQ, separate EQ for all 3, and then I was doing like various different effects for different for the 3 different signals, you know. So it got very complicated, and the more complicated you have things, then the more chances are that things are going to go wrong, you know, in a live setup. So I quite like just having the 1 pickup now, even though my pedal system is now a little bit more complicated, but at least the pickup is just 1 signal, you know. Yeah, it could be your server here. Okay, no worries. Let me know if it continues, but if there's anyone else out there, just let me know if that's, you know, if it's not happening, if it's not a problem with anyone else, then I guess it might be your server. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of the pickup system. And if there's anyone else in the comments as well, let me know if what guitar you use, what pickup system you use, you know, because part of why I'm doing these live streams is to kind of, you know, connect with other people and find out what you're using as well, because it's just really interesting to me. And if there's anything you're struggling with specifically for live performance stuff or anything else. You know, this is we don't have to just talk about the subject matter that I'm talking about. You can ask me any questions, so feel free to drop anything in the chat there. Yeah, so this is the pickup, and I really like it. You know, it still has that with every piezo style pickup. They kind of have that kind of piezo twang, don't they? You know? It doesn't have it as much. So that's kind of the pickup, and I'm quite happy at the moment. But you know, as you might have seen in one of my other videos, it's it's a never-ending search to find the perfect pickup. You know, and like with performing live, it's a never-ending search to find the perfect live setup. It doesn't really exist, perhaps, but I still really enjoy searching for it, you know. Yeah, so it's like I used to have 3 pickups or 2 pickups and an internal mic, and now I just have 1 at the moment. That may change. My setup changes a lot. But let me know what pickups you use. Do you use just a pickup, or do you have microphones as well, or do you have like some kind of blending pickup and a microphone in your guitar? Obviously I'm talking about mainly acoustic guitars here. And I'll just talk about the microphones now. So this one here is actually a Rode M2. It's a pretty inexpensive condenser, handheld condenser. So it's a condenser that's designed for live performance. And I like it because it's it has quite a flat response, you know, which I quite like for a live situation. And it EQs quite well. I can EQ it fairly well. And it's, you know, I just like the sound of it. Maybe I'll change at some point, I don't know. I really enjoy dynamic mics as well. But one reason I like these handheld condensers is because they're a little bit more sensitive. They're still good at rejecting noise around them, but obviously not as good as a dynamic microphone. But you don't have to be really close up on them. You know, you can have some distance, which I quite like. You know, I don't like to be like pressing up against a microphone. Not that you have to do that with a dynamic. You definitely have to do it more with dynamics for sure. But I like to have a bit of flexibility in my movement, you know. I don't always want to have to go up suddenly, you know, because I move a lot when I play. So I like to have that movement. So that's one of the reasons I like to use these type of microphones. But I do like dynamics as well, and I do sometimes use them. But right now I'm using this Rode M2, and then I have the Neumann KM184, and this is a small diaphragm condenser, and I have this on stage as a live performance, and as an external microphone, you know, and it picks up my guitar. At the moment I actually haven't got it on, so I'll turn it on and give you an idea what kind of sound that is getting. And I might turn off the turn off the, I can just do it here with the pedal. There we go, it's easier. So I turned off the pickup and now it's just the microphone. Obviously I don't have any reverb or anything like that happening at the moment. These are just completely dry. So it has a really nice, very clear sound. And I try to have it around the 12th fret, roughly, where the neck meets the body, and sort of, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches away, something like this, from the guitar. I've done a lot of videos on this mic, but one thing I really like about it is that it's I like about using an external mic live in general is that it picks up those very acoustic sounds on the guitar, you know, all that air that the pickup just can't reproduce, you know. Just sounds so natural and nice, and obviously when I'm on stage I have to EQ it quite a lot, and we'll get into that as well, all the EQ setup and everything, but I feel all I need is just a little bit of that high end, that kind of that airy, acoustic airy sound on top of the pickup, you know, and then I'm happy, and then it sounds really nice. Yeah, and this is a cardioid, the Neumann, and I'm not sure what the M2 is. I think it said it had supercardioid characteristics. I'm not sure what that means, whether it is supercardioid or if it's something else. I don't know. Anyway, it's something like this. Has supercardioid characteristics. Nice, yeah, some more comments. Very rich sound, Fabian, nice. Can really hear that great woody sound, nice, yeah. Every evening from the UK. Oh, hey, Mississippi Blues. Good to have you. Welcome to the live stream. Nice. Is your pickup active? Really love the sound. No, it's passive. It's completely passive. You know, the K&K Pure Mini, they have preamps specifically for their pickups as well, but this is passive. But I have a preamp, so it is going into a preamp. But I don't like any sort of electrics inside the guitar, you know. I try and have as few stuff inside the guitar as possible. You know, that's another thing when I had all these different pickups and microphone inside the guitar. Even though they're very light, it still adds a bit of weight kind of to it, and you know, you can kind of all these cables rattling around inside and stuff like this. I don't know, I quite like the simplicity of one pickup, but as I say, that may change. I change my setup a lot, but yeah, this is really simple and easy to set up. I just did it myself. You just glue these things on the inside of your guitar, just where the bridge is, and then they just all go to an M-pin jack. Pretty straightforward and easy, but it's a nice sound. But it definitely helps combining them with combining the pickup with a microphone, of some kind, whether it's internal or external mic. It's quite easy for me to have this mic because I'm always sitting down when I play live. So I guess it's something somewhat a bit more tricky when you're standing up, although a lot of people do that as well. It's possible for sure. Nice, yeah. Mississippi Blue says the stream seems all right here. Okay, great. Well, that's good to know. Mississippi Blue says I have a Martin SC13E special that sounds great plugged in. Okay, nice. Do you know what pickup that has in it? Is it like the factory standard? I'm not sure what pickups they come with. Does Martin make their own pickups, or I have no idea. But yeah, that sounds lovely. I've always wanted a Martin. I actually do have a Martin. That's I lie. I do have a Martin. It's just not here. It's at my parents' place. And it was actually one of these Martin kits. You can get like a guitar kit that you build yourself, and it was kind of half built. At least the body was built, which is like the hardest part. And all I had to do was attach the neck, basically, and then the fretboard. Put the fretboard on the neck and attach the neck to the body. I think I had to also attach the bridge as well, which is tricky because obviously you need to get the bridge in the right place. But it's still going. This was like 10 years ago at least, 15 years ago maybe. It's still going. And, I just left it at my folks' place. It was one of the cheaper. It's based around, I can't call it a Martin because it's not. But it was based on one of the cheaper end Martins for sure. Yeah, it wasn't that expensive, but it sounds great. It sounds great. You can get these like kits for pretty cheap, but obviously it takes a lot of work to kind of build them yourself. I think you can do the same with electric guitars as well. Actually, they have kits, and that's probably a lot easier to build than an acoustic, I can imagine. Tom Anderson, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Do you use that guitar only for DADGAD, or do you use it for other tunings as well? I do use other tunings. I use this for like C tunings as well, but mainly DADGAD. Yeah, I do some like C tunings. I like to have, if I can, I put some other guitars in like standard as well. I do like to go back to standard sometimes. And I know some of you have been asking about that. I will do some songs in standard or some stuff in standard tuning at some point. But DADGAD is definitely my go-to tuning. It's like 90% of my stuff. Yeah, is DADGAD. But I do use it for other tunings, this one. Now and again, not all the time. Mississippi Blue says, LR bags, yeah. Nice. Yeah, LR bags make some great pickups. I haven't tried any myself, but I know a lot of people have used LR bags, and they sound great. Yeah, so if you've just joined the stream, we're kind of talking about my live performance setup, and I'm kind of going through everything I use for a live performance. And I know I've talked about my gear a lot in the past, but I wanted to talk about specifically for a live performance. And I'm not only just going to go through the gear and talk about it, but I'm going to show you how I do my sound check, because I feel like a lot of people kind of drift through the soundtrack, and I feel like it's the most important part of a show, and it can make or break your show. So at least for me, that I feel that way. So I'm going to show you how I do exactly how I do my sound checks, and maybe you can get some inspiration next time you do yours. So I went through, so I've talked about the guitar, and I talked about the pickup, and I talked about now these the microphones that I'm using. I'm going to talk about the pedals, sorry, now. Just give me a second. I'm just going to pop this up. Boing. There we go. Yeah, so these are the pedals I'm using. So I have a stereo setup, sort of a wet and dry sort of setup. The pickups going into this is a radial Tonebone PZ Deluxe pickup, preamp, sorry. And, you know, this has a lot of the very standard stuff that preamps have. Mute, a tuner output, it has DI output, and a jack output for if you want to use like an amplifier or anything like that. And then it's got some switches, some ground lifts, phase, a low cut filter, and then it has a very basic EQ. But it's great, you know, everything you need, a boost and a mute switch, and then it's built like a tank. They're really, all of these radial stuff, made in Canada, they're just built so well. I can't recommend them enough. You know, I could throw this thing on the ground, on the concrete ground, and it'd be fine, absolutely fine. Not that I would do that, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so that's the preamp, and then I'm going into, it's very standard, this one, this signal path here. It's like an EQ and then a reverb. Right now I'm using the Verb from the AFX Verb from Fishman. It's a really nice little reverb. I'm been playing with it a lot. I'm going to do a video on that soon. They sent it to me to try out. It's really nice. I think I have not turned on the pickup back again. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. It was on mute. Yeah. So now here's the microphone and the pickup together. And you can kind of hear that reverb. It's nice. It's a nice reverb. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, so I have that, and then that is actually going out. It's not going into this. This is a tuner. That's going out to what would be front of house. So that's that signal path. Really simple and easy. Just preamp, EQ, reverb. You know, and that's this sound. It's just the main sound of the pickup. And then I have it going out of the tuner. I've got another signal going out of the tuner, and then I've got the tuner going out to my tuner first, and then that is going to a volume pedal, which I've got down on my foot, and then the volume pedal is then, where's it going? It's going into the delay pedal, Electro-Harmonix #1 Echo, and then I've got a distortion pedal at the back there. This is like a two-tier pedal board, and then I've got a Strymon Blue Sky for like a bit of craziness. If I want to add a little bit of you know, reverb craziness, I'll turn the distortion off because I don't need that right now. This sort of stuff, if I want that. I don't have to go that crazy. I can just bring it in and out whenever I want because I have the volume pedal, attached. So that's really nice. It's a nice little setup there for kind of as an expression pedal-esque kind of stuff. Excited to get some other pedals actually and experiment and see what I can do with this kind of wet-dry setup I have. Yeah, so that's basically the pedal setup, and then after that I have after the blue sky. So that's the last pedal in the signal chain of the wet sound. What's wet is the more crazy kind of effects. Then that's going as another separate signal to front of house, what would be front of house, but now it's just going into my interface. But let's pretend it's going to front of house, and that's that. So that's the pedals side of things. And yeah, with the pedals, it's more of a live thing for me. I don't really use pedals too much when I'm recording. When I'm recording, I kind of prefer just to get a very natural, true sound, although it's something that I would never say I would never try it, I definitely think it's worth trying everything and seeing what it does. Maybe next time I'm gonna record a song, I'll try it with it and just record it on a separate track. If I'm recording into a digital audio workstation, I can just record it on a separate track and then put it in if I want, or leave it out. That's one of the beauties about when recording into your computer, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I quite like to just record straight into one of these things, the Zoom, one of these bad boys. But it's only two signals really, two mic signals. So you're a little bit limited with that, but I quite like just using that. I'm quite happy not to set up on my computer and go through a door, but it definitely has its benefits. Going through a door like this, using with the pickup and everything. Just go to the comments. Tom Anderson says, Mississippi Blues says, sorry, I agree, love the DADCAD tuning, thanks. Yeah, it's nice. Tom Anderson says, smooth sound, thanks. Love the way you have set your reverb pedal. Yeah, the AFX one, you mean? It's really nice, it's there's not many pedals out there that are designed specifically for acoustic instruments, and Fishman have released these pedals that are specifically for acoustic instruments, and they sound great. Yeah, no, I'm really happy with it. Do you feel what does that say? At peace, do you mean? At peace with your current pedal board? Or do you have some future plans or thoughts about the pedal board? Do I have some future plans? No, not really. I feel quite at peace with it. I'm not really... I'm not really changing anything at the moment with it. Do you mean in terms of the way it looks and everything and the design? I'm quite happy with it, to be honest. I do have a smaller pedal board if I'm gonna go anywhere with and I just need these three and a tuner, you know, then I don't need to take the whole thing. But no, I'm quite happy with its layout and everything. Hey, Isabel, yeah, I'm quite quiet. Okay, I'll try and turn it up a bit. Yeah, I'm trying something kind of different because I'm going through my digital audio workstation and then into OBS, which is the program that I'm using. I'm going to turn it up a little bit, and because I can't hear, I'm only hearing what directly out of my interface, so I can just hear that, but I can't hear what you're hearing. So yeah, just let me know if this is any better. I'm kind of making it louder now, and yeah, is that better? Is that louder? Let me know if I'm clipping as well, you know, if I'm distorting or anything like that. Is that better? That should be a bit better now. Yeah, just let me know in the chats if that's a little bit better. Kind of trying things out. It always happens when you try new things out, technical things, you know, it doesn't always go to plan, but hopefully it's a little bit better volume now. Yeah, so that was basically, so if you just joined us, I'm talking about my whole live performance setup, and I've just gone through all the kind of the gear that I use in a live performance, the microphone, the pickup, the two microphones, sorry, the guitar, the pickup, and the pedals that I'm using. And the next thing, the last thing really I want to talk about is potentially the most important thing when doing a live performance, or I feel at least it's most important for me. And this can make or break a show. It really can. And I know in some cases when it hasn't gone right for me, it's really kind of destroyed my show. And that is the sound check. And a lot of people overlook this, and I did for years, but I realized how important it was for me. And a lot of this is to do with kind of it's to do with your headspace, you know, and how you're feeling about the sound check, rather than actually how it sounds or how other people are perceiving how it sounds, you know. Because I feel personally that I am very particular about my sound, especially live on stage. And of course, when you're playing different venues, it's gonna sound different in different rooms, in different PA systems, different setups. It's not always gonna sound how you want it to sound, or how it sounds, you know, in your studio in your home, you know. So you got to kind of remember that, but at the same time, it's nice for it to feel encouraging, you know, so you're feeling good about the gig, you know. So for me, a good sound check makes me feel more confident. It will make me feel like I will have a great show, you know. And that makes all the difference for me. It really makes all the difference. And the same can be said also with a bad sound check. You know, if things go wrong, if the sound just isn't right, then it can really put me down, and I can really have a bad show. So I mean, this might not affect you. You know, you might have had a really bad sound check and then you had a great show, or maybe you had like a really good sound check but then you had a bad show. Let me know if anybody has experienced this before. Let me know just in the comments below, because this is something that I kind of had to go through, and I realized that I needed to have a good sound check, but that also at the same time put a lot of pressure on me, because I knew that how important the sound check was for me. So I'm going to kind of go through my process of sound check, and it's obviously you're going to have different times. If you're headlining a show, then generally you have as much time as you want to sound check, within reason, obviously. But if you're playing, like, if you're either a support slot for a show, you definitely don't have as much time. And also at a festival or anything like that, you have less times. Sometimes when I've played at a festival, I've had just a line check. They call it a line check, where you're literally just plugging in, checking whether you have signal that's coming through, and then kind of get the signal to go. Now you got to perform. No, that's not a sound check. that's I really hate them. I really don't like them. And whenever I have to just do a line check, then I kind of just give in to any sort of perfectionism I have, and and just say, screw it. It sounds good. Either it sounds good or it sounds bad, but I'm just gonna give it all in the performance, But anyway, this is my process when I do have time, but at the same time, I don't want to waste my time or waste the sound engineer's time, as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go through that. I'm just gonna let me just answer a few of the comments before I go through my process, and then I'll do a song or something, and then we'll end it. But just wanted to make sure I've answered all the questions. Tom Anderson says, I was thinking about if some pedal wasn't working for you the way you have thought, or maybe you were missing something. Okay. No, they're all working the way I want to. To be honest, I haven't changed much for a while now with my current pedals, just because I haven't had much of the headspace to do that. I go in and out of kind of pedal world, depending on how much time or how much I'm into it or not, Lately, I've been more into recording, just with microphones. So I've been really into microphones lately, the past sort of couple of years. So I haven't been as much into pedals, but no, that is definitely changing, and I'm getting back into pedals more. So maybe that'll change, and I'll let you know if it does. But no. I think if there had to be one, it would be like the delay. I struggle with delay. I struggle to kind of use it in a practical way, I don't like to use it rhythmically, and I see a lot of players use it rhythmically. Sort of you're playing in the same tempo as the delay, right? I find that kind of limits me somewhat rhythmically. I don't know. I just can't. I feel like I'm stuck in that rhythm, for the whole song, and I feel it can get overdone as well. That whole thing. So I don't like to do that as much. I like to use delay more for like as a more kind of ambient sort of stuff. But yeah, I haven't. I need to kind of explore with delay a little bit more, because I do like it. I do like delay. I just can't find a practical way of using it yet. You know? But we'll see. Yeah. And Tom also says, like if you felt like you were missing a certain effect you would like to apply to your pedal board. Yeah. I think I'd like to explore a bit more with distortion, which sounds a bit crazy, but on acoustic guitar, you know, but that's more to kind of bring in and out at these certain tiny moments, and also delay. You know, I really like the sound of analog delay, like some really nice analog delay pedals, which sound great on electric guitar. I don't know how they would sound on acoustic guitar. I'd love to try it out, but apart from that, no. Just those two things, really, at the moment. Hope that answers your question. Anyway, I'm going to go through my process of my sound check. So I'll just take this off here. And so first thing I do is generally the guitar, and I choose a song. So I should also say that I write all this down. So I actually have a sound check for my sound check. I have a set list for my sound check. So I write all this down, exactly what I'm going to check and how I'm going to check it. So that just, you know, it sets myself up to be prepared when I'm on stage, you know, because we don't know the situation of, you know, and also what the sound engineer is going to be like. They might be stressed, you know, they might not be a nice person, although generally they are. But, you know, you just never know. So it's always best to be as prepared as you can, and not just be like, oh yeah, it kind of sounds like an acoustic guitar. That's great. Yeah, that's working. Yeah, all good. That may work for some people, but that doesn't work for me. No. So I choose a song, and usually I choose the lowest key that I'm going to be playing in. So I'm going to choose this one. So this song here. This is Nobody's Fault But Mine. So this is in the key of D minor. So this is one of the lowest songs that I play in, and I first check the level, so we can look at the. Let me turn off the microphone here now. Actually, 1 second. I can turn off the Neumann here, so you can just hear the pickup. And obviously, I've still got this one on, but now you can just hear the pickup. And so I would listen to it dry. Okay, and then I would go to my pickups, my pedals, sorry. And then I would do the level first. So I get the level right. So maybe I want it a bit louder. And I do a very basic kind of EQ here on this one. So this is just like a rough kind of EQ I'm doing. So I kind of go through this of doing an EQ and then play a little bit, you know, changing the EQ a little bit, and I'm kind of just I kind of know what I want it to sound like. You know? And with this EQ, this is basically just like low, mid, and high here, very basic, and I'm just kind of just giving it a little bit of kind of tweaking here and there, but not too crazy, you know, nothing too wild, you know. So I keep playing that song, and it's important to keep playing the song at the level that you're going to be performing at, you know, because you don't want to be kind of doing the sound check or this level, and then when you play, it will be that level, you know. So that's really important. So get the level right. Do that first basic EQ on this here, on the preamp. And if I'm happy with that, obviously in this setting, you know, there's no room. It's all in my headphones. So when there's a PA, obviously the things that I'm looking out for is feedback, you know, is any frequencies that are causing any problems, and that's usually, a lot of the time, it's in the low end. So I've got these low cut filters on this preamp, so I can do that. I've got sort of 2 different versions of low cut filters if I want to do that. Right now I'm quite happy with the sound, obviously, but I would do that if there was any low end problems there. So then I would move on to the EQ pedal here. This is the Empress Para EQ. It's a parametric EQ, and this is really cool because I can basically go through, and this is what I do. I boost the signal, and it's basically like a radio dial, and you fine tune that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for frequencies that I don't like or that are causing me problems. These are the most important frequencies when playing live. So you can hear there. So I'm basically accentuating these sort of harsh frequencies, and then when I've found that frequency, I can then turn it down with the gain. Yeah, and I'll do the same thing on the high end. Something like this. You know, nothing too crazy. I don't know if you can actually see that, but I've only turned them down ever so slightly. Not just, there's nothing drastic, no drastic changes there, but they basically just, I found the frequencies that I don't like, and I've just turned them down. So I haven't boosted anything. But the way I see with EQing is, if I get rid of all the frequencies that I don't like, then I'm left with the frequencies that I do like. So that's kind of my EQ. So that's it there. Now I go to the reverb, and I would kind of find the sort of the reverb that I like. It's usually in the place that I want anyway. But depending on the room, you know, it may already have some kind of natural reverb to the room, so maybe you don't want as much or whatever, you know. So it's always good to check these things. Then the next thing I do is I check every sound, you know, every sound that I'm going to do in the performance. I'm going to check, you know, because we need to check that and make sure, like, okay, now I'm going to turn on my delay. that's what I would do. So I'd go through there. So they're now checked. They're done. Then I would go over to the microphone, and this is a little bit it's a little bit different to how I would usually do. So the microphone here, I would have, I'm talking about this small diaphragm condenser. So I would have this one going through a separate physical preamp on stage and an EQ here, parametric EQ, and a reverb I would have as well. I'm not going to do the reverbs for the vocals. I'm just going to look at the EQ. So I'm now going to mute. So I would mute the pickup, and now I'm going to go to another screen here. So this, you can actually see the interface that I'm using. So this is the Neumann MT48 interface. But this, you can see, I would use the same way that I'm using any kind of on stage preamp. Okay, this is the mic here. This is the Neumann here, and as you see, I've got a low cut of 60 Hertz. So I've cut out the low frequencies already, and I do something like that on stage, you know, because this microphone on stage, any kind of condenser, is going to cause me problems in the low end frequencies. So let's look at a quick EQ on this. Let's just go to EQ here. So this is the same type. This is like a parametric EQ. So I can go and I would just look for, so this is the mic. So this is what I would do on stage. So this is before the sound engineer. Of course, I can ask the sound engineer to do this as well. But I just, you know, some of the places that I play, they're really small venues, and some of the sound engineers don't actually have parametric EQs. So I like to bring my own just in case. You know, it just gives me a little bit more control on stage. So I would do something very simple. I would do something like this. I'll go on the low frequencies. It's hard to do because I've got the mouse on my right hand. I would usually play and then do the frequencies on my left hand. But you know, I would do something like this. Let's see. I might not even need to do that, you know, because I've cut 60 from 60 Hertz onwards anyway. But depending on the volume, so I'd look at the low end, and then I would do, so the Q here, this one I'm moving, this controls the how fine tuning I want to go. You know, so if I make that really wide, and then obviously I'm now boosting a whole load of frequencies at the same time, right? Or cutting. And you know, I don't want to do that. So let's make it quite small here. So I would do a similar thing like this, right? And then I would just go through and look at the frequencies that are causing me problems. So it's a bit hard for me to do it. I have to play with my left hand while I go through the frequencies. So I'm kind of looking for anything that rings out. And I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a certain frequency there's an A that's sort of ringing out, and if I was live on stage, then that potentially might cause me feedback problems. So then I can take that specific frequency, and then I would go to the gain and I would turn that down. Yeah. So then hopefully that wouldn't be causing me problems anymore. And I would do more as well with these other points as well if I needed to. So I hope that makes sense on the EQing side of things. And then I would do the same thing. So let's go to this mic here and let's do the same thing. So this vocal mic. So this one, I have a problem of, not a problem, but a lot of microphones pick up like the sibilants, like the S's and the T's and this sort of thing, you know, with me, and they pick it up quite harshly. So I kind of want to look for that. So we're going to do the same thing now, and we're going to kind of scroll through the frequencies. This is going to be too low, and I'm going to up the gain a little bit. So we're accentuating these frequencies, and hopefully you can hear this. And I just scroll through. So it's a bit like a radio dial, and it's really cool because it means you can really listen and scroll through any of these frequencies that are kind of causing any problems or that you don't like, you know, anything like this. Maybe I'd have it around sort of 3K, I don't know, let's see, and then I would kind of go the other way with the gain, something like this. Nothing too drastic, you know, and maybe I do it a little bit like that, you know. So you can hear that it's definitely a little better with the sibilants, if I can say, sort of a lot of S's and stuff like this, you know. It's definitely a lot better. I can turn it off and you can hear the difference now, and it's definitely a lot harsher. And then I'll bring in the EQ, and it sounds a bit better. Yeah, so that's the basic kind of EQ that I would be doing. I wouldn't necessarily do it on the vocal mic. I might let the sound engineer do that, because usually I just have one EQ with me, and that's for the condenser, because that's the one that typically causes me more feedback problems and stuff like this. So yeah, but that gives you an idea about my kind of sound check process, and that's it. So, you know, it's good to have these. It's good to have the sound check. Know what you're going to do beforehand, before you do the sound check, you know, and to put yourself in the right mood before you do your performance. If you're anything like me, I mean, you might be that it just really doesn't faze you, you know, if you do a bad sound check, it's okay. You don't mind too much, because you got to remember the audience, you know, they're not judging you on the way that your guitar is sounding, the way that your pickup is sounding, or the way that your microphone sounds. They're listening to your music, you know, and they're not thinking about these things. They're thinking about the performance. So for the audience, the most important thing is the performance, you know. However, I think that as a performer, if you do care about your sound and your tone and the way everything sounds, and if you're very particular like me, then you know, you can. It's good to get yourself in the right headspace before the performance, you know. And by having a good sound check, you know, that can really get you into a good headspace before you go on stage. I hope that makes sense to everyone. I'll do a song now. I've been talking a while. I'm going to do a song. And that's part of my sound check. Is to then do a full song, if possible, if I have the time, during the sound check. If you have any more questions, I'll answer questions after this song. I'll just do a quick song, and then I'll make sure if you have any questions that you just drop them down in the comments section below, and I'll make sure I'll answer everyone's questions before we end it. So this is nobody's fault but mine, and yeah, here we go. Let's give it a go. Make sure I haven't muted anything, because I was muting stuff in the past. One sec. Yeah, no, we're all good. We're all good. was Nobody's Fault But Mine by Blind Willie Johnson. Hope everyone's good out there. Yeah, we've been talking about doing performing live in this live stream, and I ran through my live performance setup. So I was talking about everything that I use. I used all the gear, the guitar, the pickup, the microphones, the pedals, and then I went through my sound check and everything that I go through during the sound check. So I really hope that helped people, or that you found it interesting. I'll just look at some of the comments here. I might do another song before I go, but I'll do a look at the comments. Hey, how's it going? I'm probably gonna butcher your name. Sorry. Jozu Mena. That's probably, sorry. I'm really sorry. Says, hey man, do you listen to, what is that? Shoegaze? No, I don't. What's shoegaze? I should check it out. Yeah, I'm going to check that out after. I don't at all. But thanks for the suggestion. Tom says, I like your streams and videos. Keep up the good work. Hope to catch you in the next live stream as well, Fabian. Fantastic. Thanks so much, Tom. Thanks everyone for joining. I'll do one more song. And then I'll call it a day. It's not too late here. It's like coming up to 10:30 here, but you know. If anyone can let me know, did the sound sort out in the end? Is it louder than it was? Let me know in the comments below. Saturday night by the banks of the Dee. Oh, I met an old man under duress I could see. I sat down beside him and to me he did say, oh, I can't get employment for me hair, it's turned grey.
last Wednesday night to the Brooklyn highways, to the culinary office. I went straight for her nest, and I got me wage packet, and I was walking away when they gave us me notice for me hair it turned grey. Oh, I am an all-nighter, aged 56. If I could get lots, what I'd laugh for me pics. I'd laugh for them and sell them, and I'd hold them away. But I can't get employment for me hair's turned grey.
That was Banks of the D. All right, thanks everyone for joining me on this live stream. It's been so much fun as always. I'll just go through the chats, make sure I didn't miss any comments. Mississippi Blues says, sounds good, great. Tom Anderson, is louder now than before. I didn't hear no clipping on my phone. Sounded good to me. Okay, great. Hey, Hans, I'm late. Great reverb moves. Sounds good, Fabian. Hey, Hans, no worries, no worries. You know, you can always, I leave these live streams on, you know, so you can watch it from the start if you want. Great. Mississippi Blues, thanks so much. Thanks everyone for joining. Good stream. Catch you next time. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And yeah, have a great weekend. And I will see you guys in the next live stream. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.